Alright, here we go! So take two here. That was actually kind of an ideal game to take two. There hadn't really been much action yet, nobody had gotten first blood or anything, so it's not like there had been a bunch of brawling going on and people were losing and winning, so let's remake. Get those same bands. I don't even remember what the bands were. Hopefully they do. There was a Blitzcrank, there was a Vayne, I want to say, and Senna. I think it was Blitz, Vayne, and Senna. Who are the bands there? There we go. So yeah, this pick band should go way faster. Unfortunately, we're still going to have to sit on the 3-minute delay. But then we'll be able to get ready to roll. Give me something to drink. Awesome, thank you.
Sorry?
Water. Water's fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. James we had two disconnects at the beginning of the game. Our jungler reconnected, our top didn't, so we had to remake. So we're starting our first game again. James, do you have to go upstairs?
No.
Okay, then you have to listen to Mom. She's asked you to do things, you have to do them, okay? Otherwise I'm sending you upstairs. You can't be my co-host.
What's my co-host?
My co-host. Co-hosting the stream. Helping me watch the game and say things about it so people watching know what's going on.
The Gunner game.
The Gunner game, yeah. He was sad when the guy with the gun fell over last game. And James, what do you think about Blitzcrank?
He's garbage.
That's right. I've been teaching him well. We hate Blitzcrank. He ruined our day last game, so.
No, man.
What I call him? Garbage man.
Oh, dear.
He's kind of like a garbage man. He's like a big garbage robot.
Why?
That's just who he is. He's a robot.
Let's say a robot.
Alright, so here's our spectator delay once again. So 3 minutes, we got same picks, we got same bands, we got same summoners, we got probably same keystones and all that good stuff. I mean, theoretically, you can remake if someone needs to change the summoner spell. Like if a jungler connects without smite, they can request remake, which we had to do last game. But that's not that common. Usually the reason for remakes is because of this. It's odd that the pause function didn't work, but it's preseason. Who knows what they've been working on and patching. Normally, if you hit /pause, the game will freeze for everybody until you /unpause once your guy has managed to reconnect. But that's something we'll have to maybe try in a custom game and see if it actually works, because that's very strange.
I think he's around the side. Can we go check?
But yeah, I'm kind of happy the game went the way it did. I mean, I kind of predicted a rough bottom lane with a lot of poke out of Ash and Soda, and you could see that was definitely the case there. The Galio-Nivea lane wasn't really going that well, though. Nivea was having a hard time dealing with the Galio Qs. She was working on getting the poke off, which was good, but Galio's natural tankiness was soaking a little more of that than I think Nivea was expecting, especially with no ability power in her build and going with an early mana crystal. That's going to make her poke not hit as hard, which is going to have a harder time breaking through Galio's natural magic resist and his passive shield. Of course, we have no idea how the top lane really went over the jungle because they weren't connected, so I have to see how those predictions go when we actually start a full 5-on-5, assuming everyone's connected to the game this time. I'm going to have to put another request into IT to get them to get this game installed a little faster. Prevented this from happening. I'd also free up a few more of our players to play who are having issues at home that would like to play but can't. Oh, so yeah, I guess we had a little more time to talk about the Cho'Gath-Mundo matchup. As I expect the game to go to Mundo later in the game. With he's got a little more range on his Q, it's up more often, and it's percent damage. So as Cho'Gath stacks health, the percent becomes more effective. And so as I just got an email from the coordinator. They had 2 DCs early. They're doing a remake. That's very weird. The B-side's officially been seeded, which is awesome. So yeah, Cho'Gath's true damage is, I mean, it scales up in threat for sure, but if you're Mundo and you're stacking health, which Mundos tend to do, the Cho'Gath doesn't hit quite, the true damage doesn't hit quite as hard. I mean, he'll be a huge threat to the rest of the team later on, whereas Mundo will not be. Well, I mean, maybe to Galio, who's a bit tankier, but Galio's natural magic resist will negate some of that. But I mean, Mundo's percent damage doesn't hit that hard against an Ashe who has no health to chunk a percent of, right? So in the top lane itself, Mundo will end up having an advantage against Cho'Gath, but early on, I think Cho'Gath's sustain will probably help keep him in lane a little longer than Mundo's. Part of that'll be itemization as well, right? Cho'Gath wants to build a little ability power usually, like he'll rust a Rod of Ages, which is a later item, whereas a lot of Mundos just go straight tank, which will let him be a little tankier, a little more magic resist early in the game, which will allow him to stay in lane longer as well. So yeah, if we take a look back in, we've got all the same summoners still. Yeah, everyone in Hail of Blaze. We've got Fleet Footwork. Yeah, so nobody changed anything major, just looking to get back in and start things up again. What I'm really interested to see is how our CS at 10 looks. We've been trying to work a little bit on lane phase and farming, so we'll see how our CS at 10 actually looks. That was a really fast loading screen. Are we actually going to get in now? That's the question. So waiting for you to load onto the Rift, that's pretty normal. I didn't expect us to actually pop into the game this quickly, but it did, so I'll take it. I guess everyone just loaded faster, which is probably a good sign. I said, how did you have items already? But it's just the stopwatch. That's the mastery. Oh yeah, there we go. Nocturne's already bought items, so that's a good sign. Mundo in the top. Cho'Gath still has not. Oh my goodness. Ash, Nivea goes mid. There. Supports that works. Well, we might have to play 4v5. Ooh, they just blue flashed. Let's get flashing fountain. Who should we check here? Let's do Lapras. Double check. Maybe not fountain. Like just. Oh, it's 32. Actually, I'll get the Frost Ninja. And literally, it's right there. Just play it. That's fair. Yep. Play it 4v2, and it doesn't work. We'll sub in a new, sub someone new in for next game. That'll be the way it has to work. Yeah, we'll have to play it out, and Mundo's gonna have to figure out what's going on here. He'll have to get himself reconnected one way or another, or he will not be playing top lane for us next game. We got subs around, so we have the ability to sub, which is good. That's why you gotta have a deep roster. Another reason why I need to get League of Legends installed on our school computers. Alright, so here we go. We got a solid leash at the red buff for the junglers, whereas the other team didn't leash for the jungler, which will give them an advantage in their bottom lane, as they'll be there to farm. We'll have to see if... yeah, so it's a free 6 farm onto the Ashes she got there, whereas Nerva went to leash instead. K managed to solo that one. I mean, he'll take a little more damage on the solo, but I mean, he's just going to take the 2 buffs and probably back right away anyways before he looks for anything else. And the Rocket Rush takes a pretty solid beating out of that poke. I know they're pushed into turret, so we'll have to see how the farming under turret goes. So far so good, loses 1. There we go. Oh, they've taken too much damage. Is he going to get it? Nope. So it gets about half the minions under turret. I mean, fire under turret is a skill that takes a fair amount of practice, especially when you're early in the game like this, but just missed a free CS there, which is not ideal. There we go. Galio gets the engage, dashes in the Justice Punch, gets off the taunt, and hits the Q. So there's a full trade from Galio. You can see it took Anivia down to half. So Anivia's going to pop a couple potions and try and stay in lane. But it's having a hard time, definitely, against that Galio. So yeah, I'll have to see what we end up doing next game. I'll have to think about who we got for subs to play in our top lane. I've got an idea that might work, but wait and see, wait and see.
Yeah.
Ooh. What's up, James?
I think the gunner guy is gonna win.
Which guy's the gunner guy?
The one with the red.
So there's the Justice Punch, there's the taunt. The taunt allows Kane to get in. Kane gets a flash out of Lapras. So Lapras still has his bird, or his egg, sorry. But he's going to be very gankable for the next little while. So it's, who's just reconnected? I heard reconnect, but I don't see Mundo in game yet, so I'll have to see what happens there. So Nivea goes back, manages to get her buy some items. A huge trade out of Nocturne. Awesome gank on the Cho'Gath. So Cho'Gath was pushed pretty far forward there.
Yes,
Nocturne pathing around and managed to get the first blood. So a great start for Nirval's jungler there. That's going to be real handy for him to get his build going. Kane hasn't put out any map pressure yet. He's just trying to farm up and get the red game. Or I don't know if he can get the red game without ganking. He's going to need to get some... Gonna need to gank at some point, I think, to get those kills. Make sure you get your cannon. Don't lose your cannon, Rocket Rush. It's still there. Nope, cannon's gone. That's a big gold loss. You're trying to want to do whatever you can to make sure you're hitting those cannons. That's a big priority. Oh, and not quite enough damage to kill his backline minions either. He is getting absolutely destroyed in farm right now. He's down almost 30 to 10. It is 30 to 10 now. I mean, that's one of the trails of being shoved under tower, is that you have to farm from behind like that. The trade-off being, if you're always farming under tower, it means the other team is always pushed forward. And if the other team is always pushed forward, it should be jungle. The jungle should be ganking there. But he was putting pressure on the top because they had the same problem and got a kill. So he's doing his job. Hopefully he rotates to the bottom soon to put some pressure down. Kane gets pinged out, but you can see he's pathing around to try and get a kill in the bottom lane. But I mean, they're shoved in, so he's going to have a real hard time doing much there. Cho'Gath lands the knockup and gets quite a bit of damage off on Mundo. Here, Kane's making his move. There it is. And he's bound. They get a little poke damage out of the Ash, but nothing major. And definitely a one trade for Niverville there. They don't use any summoners. They waste Kane's time. They manage to get his get some damage off on him and don't take any in return. So a solid defensive effort by Niverville in the bottom lane there. That being said, their lane is still for sure behind, 35 to 12 in CS right now. That's going to take some pressure to keep that one going. If you look in the mid, it's 38 to 22, so also a large deficit in CS so far. And if he has finished her tier, he can start that mana stack, but Galio hasn't backed yet, and hasn't used his potion. So when he does finally get forced to back, he's probably going to pick up a pretty big item, and it's going to be his choice if he wants to go damage and try and kill for kills on Lapras, or if he's going to go for a defensive item and just become an immovable force in that mid lane. There's the bind, there's the jungle pressure we were waiting for. Get a flash out of the AD carry just as the fear procs. Bunch of flashes traded. Is it going to be enough? Yep. And so a second kill on Niverville's jungler, but Cho'Gath flashes, closes the gap, knocks up Mundo, and eats him for his first stack of the game off a kill. So well done there. Lapras trades and actually hits pretty hard against the Galio. So you can see that he's starting to scale up. Kane runs away. And so it looks like Frost Ninja is going to take the Scuttler for blue side, give him a bit of that vision and control. I think Kane might try and contest. I don't think he's going to win that fight with the 2 kills under Nocturne's belt. He's already spent the gold from one of them, so he's actually converted that kill advantage into an in-game advantage. So yeah, Kane's just going to keep trying to farm safely. Try and get his buffs, maybe go back by some. He might have a hard time killing this blue buff. Oh, okay, he goes into the wall for the heal. Still, this is, man, toe-to-toe here. Is he going to execute? He's going to execute. Kane loses the fight to blue buff. That is a huge deficit for Kelvin Gray. Having your jungler off the map, not just like for the lack of pressure, but that kill means he's not farming, he's not pressuring waves, he's not, like, right now Nocturne is killing some minions, which is going to allow him to get closer and closer. Yeah, every time Cho'Gath lands that knockup, Mundo takes a pretty solid beating. Like, Mundo should be investing in shoes soon. Oh, Nocturne wants to ruin his day. And there's the slow. I mean, here's the trade-off, though. You can't be that far forward against Mundo. If he hits that cleaver, you can't get out as Cho'Gath. You have no mobility. And you try to knock up Nocturne, he's just going to spell shield it. So Nocturne's just going up there to collect free kills every time Cho'Gath gets near the turret. And that's going to allow Mundo to get back into this game from his DC. Looks like Kelvin's rotating around to the dragon. And Nirval doesn't have vision on it yet, but he isn't spotted out by the Morgana. However, their bot lane's pretty far behind. This is probably not a fight they want to take. They don't have their level 6s yet, and Ashe does. Spell Shield is up, but it's going to drop, and then Ashe is going to ult them immediately. Oh, Dragon's going to finish someone in the back. Yep, Lapras gets the kill, so they've collapsed from mid lane. They finish off 3 of them down there. Zaya gets a kill as well, so everyone but Kane is done. They're going to work on finishing this dragon, but they do have... Red team secures the dragon. A huge dragon steal by Kane. So Kane pops in against the Dragon Steel. It does put Nocturne on a killing spree, though, but that was a huge Dragon Steel by them. I saw somebody drop Smite early. I'm not sure if it was... It was probably Frost Ninja by the looks of it. He just switched his Smite up. But yeah, it looks like a failed Smite. No objective secure there by the Frost Ninja. And so a nice steal by Kelvin Gray to go in there and secure that objective. Generally speaking, if you're going to die for an objective, it's worth it. If he'd gone in and not secured it and died, that would have been real bad for him. So you see Cho'Gath got the knockup, got the trade, and because Mundo had his flash up, he can get out of there, and Cho'Gath can't really do much. He doesn't have any ranged CC he can put down after his slow is on cooldown, or his knockup, sorry. And Mundo, of course, has got the cleavers. So Mundo can walk away, but now that his flash is down, that next engage he'll have a much harder time getting out of. It'll take him a little longer to escape. I'm curious to see where Nocturne decides to pressure next. He's been having a lot of success in this gank, so I want to see what lane he chooses to roll. So you can see bottom lane freezing now, or trying to. The freeze is broken, but they would try to play a little more passively on Kelvin's side. Now that they're pushed out, that'll be a viable target for Nocturne to look for. It looks like right now he's just hanging out in the bottom there. He was waiting for Galio to engage. Galio finally did. And almost kills Galio, but he's just a little too tanky. He does get Ignite out of him, though. But that'll be a ton of pressure in the mid lane, but it did come at a cost of Galio's ult, or of Nocturne's ult, sorry. So he gets Flash and Ignite for ult, which is a good trade. His ult will be up again long before Galio's flashes. Kane shows up to attempt a gank, but Anivia stops him in his trap with an Icicle, and so the Cho'Gath roam to top lane doesn't really accomplish much. He is pinged out, so we know what's going on. Mundo is pushed into his turret, though, so he can't follow right at this moment. A little opportunity for Mundo to free farm while Cho'Gath roams and doesn't accomplish much, so that's nice for Mundo. Oh, there's the knockup, and there's the silence. Now he's going to take some auto attacks that do % damage. Yeah, Mundo didn't even throw a cleaver there, so no response. A clearly one trade by Cho'Gath. That being said, guess who's in the area? Spell shields it. And that's a, yeah. See what I mean? There's the slow, so he can't walk away. Spell shield the knockup, so you can't stop the Nocturne from closing the gap, and then Nocturne just eats him. So Nocturne's going to be able to snowball that top lane pretty hard. If he's not giving Mundo kills, he's giving Mundo's assists, which will be good for getting him back in the game. Ashe using his slow is really ruining Mundo's ability to get out. Oh, look at that. Interesting. So Galio ults top, looking to put some pressure there and try to counter Nocturne. I don't know if he was expecting a gank there or something, but he blows his ult top and now just has to walk back to lane. Maybe he was using that instead of a teleport to get into lane, I'm not sure. He's not even going for the Rift Herald. Oh, and now he's getting fought. And there we go. Nocturne is cleaning up that around the jungle now. Anyone he runs into. So he's going to go for counter jungle now. Kane's going to have to run the wall, and the Nocturne can take his camp. So yeah, bot lane though is solidly going in Kelvin's favor still. That poke's just been a little too much for them to handle. If you look at the CS difference, Ashe is up almost 40 CS. It's 80 to 40 basically in CS in the bottom lane there, which is not ideal. We're at the 12-minute mark, so hopefully you'd be sitting around the 100 CS mark by now. That would kind of be professional level. You can see that Cho'Gath is up 50 to 30, even with all the deaths. He's out farming Mundo fairly well. In the jungle, Nocturne's been burning his way through camps. He's up almost 20 CS in the jungle. I mean, Kane got executed as well. Oh, the volume's in my headset buds. You can't hear. In the mid lane, you can see that Lapras has taken the advantage on Anivia, which makes sense. He's got a lot more AoE ability. Once he's got his mana up, he's good. So while he had a bit of a hard time early getting started, he's winning his lane now. He's got the kill and 2 assists, and he's got a farm advantage. They're fairly close in farm, but the kill and the 2 assists for sure gives him a gold advantage. That's going to make it harder for Galio to do much. Mundo's boots finally show up. He had the magical boots, so that'll make it easier for him to dodge those Qs from Cho'Gath, which will make his lane a little easier. So we'll have to see how that ends up panning out in terms of their direct trades without Nocturne's involvement. But yeah, bottom lane is a complete write-off so far in favor of Kelvin. Oh, interesting. I thought that landed, and apparently it didn't. So let's see. Can he get out? Yep, walks away. Still at half health. Frost Ninja's there, and the other team turns tails and runs. Wow! That hit hard for something that's not his main ability. That took almost 200 damage off. I mean, he is sitting on a finished Warrior Blade and a Serrated Dirk, so he's got a fair amount of penetration in there, but... Where's the gank? Where's it going? Oh, it's going to be Galio again. So Galio actually tries to go toe-to-toe with him. I'm not sure. Well, he probably just assumed he wasn't getting out there. So he dumped his Ignite and everything he had on Nocturne and managed, to his credit, to take half his health off. But, I mean, Nocturne's really fed. If you don't have an out, you might as well damage him, I guess, but not ideal for Galio. I mean, if you see that Nocturne ult coming and you know that it's gonna... I mean, you see the whole screen go dark. Probably heading back to your turret's a good plan if you don't know where he is and you know you're exposed. Oh, there's the bind. So they managed to catch Sona. She uses her ult to try and get out. Oh, and Ashe ults then to follow up. So it's a full-on brawl. Both junglers in the mix. Nocturne manages, or Morgana gets the kill, but then drops to Ashe. Nocturne cleans up the Ashe shortly afterwards and ends up being a 2-for-1 on the side of Nivernal in the bot lane. So a jungle pressure by Nocturne was great to be there just at the right time, but Kayn was also there for a counter gank, and they get enough damage off together to actually drop the Morgana. That was a really nice bind for her by her to take there, pin the Sona down, and force her to ult early in the fight. It was a 2-man ult, which was nice, but she had no damage to back her up at that point. Oh, so we got a teleport in the bottom lane. He's gonna ult. Oh, again, losing the dragon to Cho'Gath, who just ults it and eats it. So even though you have Smite, Cho'Gath has an eat, and so he managed to secure that kill. So taking dragon without a pink ward on it is a pretty big mistake against a team that has a Cho'Gath that can eat and a jungle who can smite. So he ends up getting killed and giving up the dragon. And it's shutdown gold onto Cho'Gath. That is going to be huge. That top lane is now solidly in Cho'Gath's favor. He's got blue buff, he's got red buff, he's got bounty gold, he's got a dragon under his belt, and he's got a ton of defensive items. So Cho'Gath has, or Mundo has vision on them now, but he's getting collapsed on. Does he react to the vision? Yes, he starts back out immediately, but it might be too little too late against these guys. Oh, he uses his flash. Very good call. By dodging that initial CC from Kayn, he saved his own life. Because if he got hit by that, Cho'Gath was going to be there next and was going to get knocked up. So good flash by Mundo, nice and early, which is what you want to see. That early flash helps save a lot of your health, and now he can stay in lane and continue to trade. If he'd waited until he'd been knocked up and taken the damage, he might have gotten out alive with flash, but he would have had to back. So yeah, still a very tight game. If you look at the gold lead is slightly in Nivernal's favor, but it's all on Nocturne. He's 8-1. If he continues to throw a dragon like that, it will be... they neutralize that advantage, and I think that the other team is probably actually in the lead if you take out Nocturne's advantage. So a lot of what Nivernal has right now is in Nocturne's hands, so we're going to have to see if Nocturne can snowball his lead into a more solid victory. So where is he going to put them? Oh, so he's going to try and take out their jungler. Fears him, walks him out of the wall. Filthy. So with him out of the wall, that ruins his ability to escape. He gets the kill, and now we can pressure an objective. First, he's probably gonna want to... Well, I mean, Cho'Gath is pushed into the lane. He could probably go for the Rift Herald if he wanted, but he's going to take his blue buff first. We'll see what he chooses to do after that. Oh, a huge invasion by Nivernal. Sona gets her ult off and is going to end up finishing the support, but they put everything they got on Ashe and managed to kill her. So even though they're behind almost 60 CS, they still managed to go 2v2 and actually kill the AD carry, which is huge. I mean, if Sona gets a couple kills, it's not ideal. She's one of the stronger supports to actually be putting some gold on. But the fact that even with Sona's ult up, they managed to kill Ashe is really nice for their bot lane there. Alright, it looks like Nocturne is working on the Rift Herald. They do have vision on him, however, so we'll have to see if they try and collapse and contest it. Kayn looks like he's working his way over there. And given Nocturne's... Oh, and so is Cho'Gath. He's going to get spotted up by the pink ward, though, so they're going to know he's there. Mundo's collapsing as well. He's getting a couple free hits off. Ooh, Cho'Gath's hitting hard. Cho'Gath uses his flash. He's trying to get him low enough to eat. Who secured that Rift Herald? I didn't even see it. Well, Cho'Gath killed him. Are they going to get the Rift Herald? No, it was killed by blue team. So, well, Nocturne did die for it. He did secure the Rift Herald before he went down. However, this brawl is not going in their favor. Oh, beautiful job by Anivia to stun them up. And so they managed to get out clean with a Rift Herald. So that's nice. We got Rift Herald onto Anivia now. But first turret drop. First turret drops? First turret drops in favor of Kelvin Gray. So the gold again is still very close. I mean, that's... oh, was that second turret? That was second turret. Mid has already gone down. So gold's still very close, one turret each. Anivia does have a Rift Herald, which should give them another turret somewhere on the map. But if we take a look at our CS here at the 18-minute mark, you can see in top lane, Cho'Gath is up about 6, but also has 3 kills to his name, including Shutdown Gold, which means that lane is probably slightly in his advantage. You look into the jungle, Nocturne definitely is winning in jungle right now, and he's about to get another kill to his name. So he's 10-2 right now, he's up 30 CS almost, and he's got He's putting pressure everywhere on the map, which is awesome. In our mid lane, it's basically tied in CS, but Anivia's got 2 kills, so mid lane is slightly in Anivia's favor. So even though Galio's now finished his Rod of Ages, it's going to take him some time to scale up. Because Rod of Ages takes 10 minutes as it gets a stack each minute. So he'll come online really in about probably 6 or 7 minutes. He'll have most of his Rod of Ages stacked and he'll really be coming online. So Anivia is on a timer right now. She has a small window where she can do stuff. Nice bind by Morgana, sorry, gets Ashe out. And then Ashe soaks 2 ults. So you see Nocturne showing up late, focusing the AD carry first, which is the right call, manages to get the summoners out, but doesn't manage to finish off Kayn. Now, normally, Xayah doesn't know how to target there, and Xayah doesn't have enough damage because she's so far behind in CS that she can't actually join that fight. So that was just not a very well staggered fight by Niverville. Like, the engage happened, Morgana dropped, Xayah backed off, then Nocturne shows up, then Nocturne has to 3v1, their Nocturne drops. By then Xayah has rejoined the fight, but doesn't have enough gold to really fight it. The timing of the whole thing wasn't ideal. And that should be a turret for Niverville, yeah. And now they can continue their fight under the turret. Cho'Gath is sticking around and ends up dropping to Anivia, so another kill under Anivia's belt, which is awesome for her. And they're going to walk this Rift Herald right down and get a little more turret damage. Alright, so Kayn is here. Is doing his thing. Oh, that is a huge amount of damage out on Xayah, but Xayah manages to actually almost kill her. Almost kill him. And there it is. Rocket Rush gets the kill, is on a spree now, but is shut down immediately by Ashe. So not ideal that goes to Ashe. Are we going to see Morgana get out? Probably not. With Ashe with Ashe's slow, she's not getting out. That was a waste. Oh, but it buys enough time for Nocturne to show up. I thought it was a waste, but it wasn't. What a brilliant move. That Zhonya's bought enough time for Nocturne to close the gas, pop an ult, get in there, and double kill. Huge play by Frost Ninja to get in there and actually clean up and save Space Fusion's life. So that was a great turnaround by Frost Fusion. I thought he blew the Zhonya's, but ideal use. Meanwhile, up in top lane, they get a second turret off that Rift Herald, and then Lapras backs, and it looks like Mundo has rotated over to mid lane now to put some pressure there. Cho'Gath, meanwhile, teleports to the bottom, but it's too late. Frost Ninja's already secured the dragon, and now Galio's coming down. And so Frost Ninja peels off. Bottom is joining. So we've got Mundo and... Not bottom, sorry. Mid. We got Mundo and Nocturne together now. Kayn is coming in for a gank. But he's hit by the bind, and Space Fusion walks it out. Now there's going to be a huge fight here. We've got Rocket Rush too far ahead. 3 of the Kelvin team. Rocket Rush is going to go down here. Nocturne is walking his way in, though, so they're going to back off. There's a mid-brawl happening in the middle. They catch Sona trying to rotate around. Sona uses her ult, but gets walled in. So there's a huge, full team fight going on. Russia gets in there. You can see Isaiah's dropping low. A double kill by the Nocturne. They're putting a ton of damage down on the Anivia, no, and there goes the egg. So Anivia's done, Nocturne's backing out, and it turns out to be a win for Kelvin. So that's a 2-for-4 win for Kelvin. They take down 4.
At night and morning.
Yeah, we're gonna play morning and night, whatever it takes, bud. But yeah, so Kelvin actually wins that team fight overall. Nocturne gets in and does some damage, but has to back out. But he's about to change that. Yeah, you're not gonna one-on-one the Nocturne. So Nocturne gets a free kill against Ashe. She went to put some deep wards in by herself. If you're a squishy champ, you generally don't want to be warding by yourself. It's not often a great test, but look how tanky that Cho'Gath is already. He's got an Abyssal Mask and a Righteous Glory, and he is just full of health. There's the ult. Tries to use his taunt, but it's blocked by Cho'Gath's Spell Shield, and of course his Magic Damage Shield does nothing to negate damage from Nocturne, so he's just killing, basically killing Galio at will now. Quick red buff for Kayn. He's going to work his way around. I'll have to see where the next objective happens. So you see bottom lane is still trying to get their turret down. So the turrets are 3-1 in favor of Niverville, but it's not the bottom lane. If you look at our CS, though, they managed to hold that 40 CS deficit pretty even. It's not like Kelvin's still pulling away. They're still at about the 40 CS difference mark. It was just that really rough early game that set them back. Lapras is going to clear all the minions with that ult. Although he's actually fallen behind a little bit in minions. He is slightly ahead in kills, so they're actually probably about even in gold right now. The extra stacks on that Rod of Ages is definitely going to help keep Galio relevant into this game, because that ability power lets him actually hit pretty hard for a tank. And you see he's got a Tex-X revolver, probably working on a GLP or something that'll allow him to close the gap. Okay, Cho'Gath pops his Righteous Glory, which means he's looking for an inch gauge. Lapras managed to stun up the front line, and then of course Nocturne goes straight for the Galio. So Nocturne's in all alone, 3 versus 1. Meanwhile, in the back line, it's a 2 versus 2. So that was about the worst possible thing you can do as an assassin, is dive in 3 versus 1, even if you're fed, because now Nirval's entire gold advantage has been negated. Without that gold advantage, they can't fight. So they lose 2 members in that fight as they get flanked on the other side. Kelvin, to their credit, did a great job of being ready for that fight and having 2 guys ready to flank the backline when Nocturne engaged. But now they're going to make a call to take an objective. The jungler's out, and it looks like they're hovering around the Baron pit. They might just be getting vision on it. We'll have to wait and see what happens here. Nirval's looking to take their AD carry out. Oh, who lands it? Yeah, they are starting Baron. So they've made the call to start it. They're slowly chunking it down. Keep in mind they have 2 smites, right? They've got the actual smite off the jungler, and they have a Cho'Gath Eat, which can work as well. And Nirval doesn't have a lot to prevent it, but Baron's going to do a lot of damage. And so there's a chance that they could win a team fight here if Nirval spawns in time and gets there. Oh, Mundo gets taunted, locked up, and deleted by Galio. Zaya uses her ult, gets a 3-man bind, walks away with 100 health. Nope, killed by the Cho'Gath knockup. Nocturne finally arrives a little late, kills one instantly, kills the second one. 2 are down. Is he going to continue? Morgana gets picked off by the Kayn. Now it's the 3v1 again, the thing we don't want Nocturne to be doing. And he's down. Now, they didn't get the Baron. Lapras is trying to hide and wait, but is spotted out by a ward. And now he's backing out. And I don't think it's going to be enough. Yeah, he flashes to get away from the crowd control, which is a good call by him. And then walls his way out, so he's safe. So again, a 4v1 teamfight loss on the side of Niverville, but they do manage to prevent Baron from being taken. If you look at this game, it's 4 turrets in favor of Niverville and an 8-kill lead, but it's only 2,000 gold. The reason that is so close is because if you look at the farm numbers, Kelvin's been taking them in almost every lane. Top lane's up 11 farm. The jungle is down 60. Mid lane is up by 5. Bottom lane is up by 50. And so that CS difference has actually bought them a little bit of a cushion, where they should be losing quite badly judging just by kills and towers. It's actually a very tight game still. This could go either way. The one thing that Nirval has to worry about, though, is that Kelvin's team fighting so far has been better. They have a lot of their gold on Nocturne, and whenever Nocturne dies, they lose. And so they have to do a much better job of getting into these fights as a team. So, a failed smite, but Sona does manage to secure it. So there's an example of what I'm talking about. Mundo went in first, alone, and got killed. And before the rest of the team showed up, he was dead. Nocturne shows up second, and the entire team has no one to focus but Nocturne. Now that Nocturne's down, that fight is over. And it's just a mistimed team fight where Mundo is in, but Nocturne's not following up at the right time, and the rest of the team isn't there either. Like, Mundo was in there fighting, and the rest of the team was not there dealing out damage. If they're dealing out damage, you might be able to convince Kelvin's teams to split their focus a bit, and then Nocturne can go in and kill some guys. But I'm not seeing a clear team fight where they have to turn and focus Nocturne. Nocturne's the only viable target when he goes in, and that's not what he wants to be. If they are grouped, Nocturne can't do his job. So Nirval now has to find a way to make them split up and try and fight skirmishes, 2v2s and 3v3s. If they stay grouped as 5, he's going to have a real hard time taking them out. Because their team fight is just not there. So another turret goes down. Whoa, there we go, just a little glitch. Alright, so another turret goes down on Niverville's side. So the turrets are almost even, and you can see the gold is, honestly, for a 27-minute mark to be at 44k both, it's basically an exact tie now. Kelvin was at a gold deficit and has consistently fought their way back and started winning team fights now. And so it's going to be interesting to see if Nirval can win a team fight. Because if they can't win a team fight, this game's going to keep sliding steadily in favor of Kelvin. Alright, so Ash is there, uses his ult right into the spell shield, and Nocturne just one-shots him. So Nocturne's getting free kills at will when his ult is up, if they aren't grouped. But now Nirval's grouping again. With how well Nocturne's doing, probably grouping is the last thing you want to be doing here. Every time they engage on you, you lose, and King can come through a wall. But they're going to try it. They're going to siege down a mid-turret. They don't have a split push anywhere. They don't have a slow push going. In fact, they have minions almost pushed to their base and bottom lane. So there's the knockout by Cho'Gath. Gets a little damage down. They just hit their CC and walk away. Kayn rejoins the team, though, so it's 4v4 in the middle. Waiting for their Ashe to respawn. Nocturne's just farming jungle. So it looks like there might be a slow push on Nirval's side from the bottom, but that's going to take, like, probably a couple minutes for that to actually develop into something useful. And the top lane, again, is not anywhere where it can be. And actually, it's growing in the side of Kelvin. So someone needs to go take care of that top wave right away before they actually fight, so they have pressure in 2 waves. So you see Nerval again just clearing minions, and Nocturne's super far back. If they get engaged on now, they die. And they almost do by Kayn and Cho'Gath. Nocturne's not close to help anything. Kayn's about to flank the entire team. They don't have vision to see it. And there's the Ashe slow, and the engage. Mundo drops. Morgana drops. The other 2 are out, but I have to wonder what was the point in standing there. They weren't sieging up a turret, they didn't have pressure in the other lanes, they didn't have Nocturne with them, who's all their damage. And the way things have been going, Nocturne's about to run in face first. I hope not, but I need to see a better team fight out of Nimble here. So yeah, you can see top's about to crash, the top wave, and it's really big on the side of Kelvin. If Kelvin was watching their map, they'd rotate top right now and knock that turret down. It looks like Kayn saw it. There, he's made the call. So the rest of their team is starting to rotate to the top lane. They have a huge wave there and another one coming in. You can see them dropping wards on their way so they can keep vision. Now they have 2 options. Take the turret and that opens up Baron, or start Baron and bait a fight, because Nerval does not want to fight. Yeah, Nivea, you don't want to be there, bud. Okay, so it gets Kayn out of there, which allows Nocturne to go in, but again, he's 3 versus 1 with no tank. So he manages to kill Kayn, but flashes right into the Galio who's waiting. Look at where Nerval's team is. Nocturne's on his own, just handing them his 22 kill lead. And there goes Blue Team's turrets. They don't have a turret to defend them now. They jump in and they get rid of the Morgana. Mundo drops shortly afterwards. And that's another rout. So they do lose their jungler, so Baron might be off the plate here, but Nerval lost Nocturne before the fight even started again. And so that's going to cost them a turret, maybe 2. Oh, definitely 2 here. And now they're going to be able to make a call for another objective. And they are calling for the Baron. With Nerval's jungler being down, they have 20 free seconds to take it here. And so it'll give them time to put some damage down. And, I mean, they're not chunking it down quickly, but it should be enough that they can clear it before Nocturne arrives.
Boss.
Yeah, it is a boss, bud.
Why is that?
He's big and does lots of damage and has lots of health. So Nocturne's respawned, but you can see that the Baron's already under half. Kayn's already most of the way there. By the time Nocturne were to arrive, that Baron will be gone. And there it is. Smite has arrived as well, so they can eat and smite it. And so Baron's secured by Kayn, so that's a Baron onto the side of Kelvin. And they now officially take the gold lead. They're up 2k gold. So that team fight plus the turrets plus the Baron swings the game in Kelvin's favor. And Kayn has hit that point where his late game scaling is kind of getting to the point where he's hard to deal with. Galio's scaled up. He's got a full stack Rod of Ages now, which makes him a little harder to deal with. Ashe is up 60 CS and 5 kills, so she's got a bunch of items finished, so she's starting to do some damage. Even though she doesn't scale as hard as Xayah, she's so far ahead that she's basically at end game while Xayah's still making her build.
Yeah.
Oh, and there Nocturne goes in. What's he going to do?
Yeah.
Gets a flash out of Kayn, which is huge. So ult for flash is good. I'm surprised he didn't get collapsed on there. But
I can't stand it.
you can't stand it. Is it too much suspense? Great wall by Anivia to cut that fight short, because they were not going to win that with their team splitting up. Mundo lands a cheeky cleaver over the wall, and you can see that, like, Kelvin's got focus. All 5 of their guys are traveling together all the time. Nervals are making different choices. Like, Anivia's far in the back now. These 4 are together, but Anivia's back. Anivia gets collapsed on, she's dead before the fight starts again. If you're playing Anivia, you're a squishy champion. You need to be away behind your tank. Look where the tank is. The tank's back here. Behind Morgana and Anivia. And so Anivia's trying to fight the entire team, and that's going to be the end of Anivia. She gets egged, the heal goes up, she gets killed. And so when they're playing in front of their tanks, they're opening themselves off to being picked. Especially when Kayn can come through a wall and Cho'Gath can hit a knockup. There's not much you can do. Now, Cho'Gath has enough ult stacks now that he's got, look, like all that health. And he's just going to sit there and soak that turret. They managed to take the turret while soaking it, while fighting Cho'Gath, and this should be game here, I believe. Yep, with Nocturne down, that should do it. They've got minions here, they've got the inhibitor down right away, they've got Baron, that should be able to finish this one off now. Let's see. Nibbles, we got a Morgana up in about 10 seconds on everyone else, so. Oh, and Galio's saying, nuts to that, you can go back and respawn again. And that is game 1. There we go. Alright, so I'll grab the code for game 2.